Hello my little TCLs, this is Scorpion72 and I'm doing this video kind of like in response to the video I saw from Mattel about the containment suit Doomsday from San Diego Comic-Con that's coming out in July. As you know, the DC subscription series didn't go through last year, as he mentioned, and we're still getting basically the 4 figures that are remaining plus the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Basically it's Superboy, Aquaman. It already came out about 3 months ago. Ice is going to be available later on this month in June. And then there's going to be Robin, Damian Wayne Robin, and of course the containment suit Doomsday. I'm doing this video because I have a top 5 DC retail and online sub mistakes that they did. Because basically there's a lot of blaming the fans and stuff, but there's ways that this line could have continued. I'm just going to go through the top 5 that I think that could have been improved on. Number 5, changing the party venue and not letting everybody know where the new party is. It's kind of like the caption of number 5, because basically is what they did is that at San Diego Comic-Con, I believe 2011, they announced they're going to cancel the line, and they did at the show, and they didn't. There was no way of like all the fans knowing that this line was canceled at retail until wave 20, when that was the last wave. Barely showed up everywhere, and even shortchanged on that. Green Arrow didn't get his arrows, and Necron, especially him, didn't get his scythe. I had to make a custom one here. What I don't understand is that I understand that's when the DC was launching their new 52, so they had wanted all classics stuff off of retail. I don't understand why they didn't just merge them together. They kind of did that when they came up with DC Unlimited, and they had a great Batman series before they changed to Batman Unlimited, and even the DC Unlimited and Batman series had like the classics Penguin, and you still got a few classic characters in there. If they had just merged it, I think this line would continue, keep the connect and collect pieces, so you can build like Giganta and other figures, and it would have worked. Like if you added 1 or 2 classic characters in a wave of 6 and have all new 52, this line would have been refreshed. It would allow them to bring back and use Superman, Batman continuously. I know they did have them at retail, but the problem is that when you're waxing $20 plus for a figure in a big package with no accessories, it's kind of hard to get, as they say, the moms and kids to buy that, especially with the moms paying it. But they keep forgetting that the grown-ups are fans too, and we buy this for our kids or for as gifts. So when the value's not there and you see other companies doing like extra accessories and the detail and everything like that, it's really hard to convince somebody to pay that much money for just a figure when you get next to nothing in there. So that brings me to number 4, the lack of value in accessories. Most of the figures should have been used with, like I said, extra accessories. Even the online subscription, many people online suggested that they polybag, like Build-A-Figure. They did give us the large figures at first, but then after they stopped at the second year of the subscription, and we suggested give us the polybag with the figure. 6 months we get a Build-A-Figure, another 6 months in the year we get a Build-A-Figure, and you don't have to put it in a package. You could polybag it. Say it can't be done, they won't do it, it's not logical. But yet, here we have the Superpowers line coming out at the end of the year, and what are they doing? They're polybagging Calabac from Superpowers in polybag, not in the package. This is something that should have been done when the subscription was still going, and fans would have been fine and happy with that because it's still giving us something. But now they're going to do most of pretty much what we asked them for, now that the line is supposed to be ending this year. Which brings me to number 3. And this is where it's going to get a little rough now, because the San Diego Comic-Con Shazam Live, that was last year. This guy here. When this guy came out, we were told that he was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, for 2013. A lot of fans were upset, including myself. I do like the figure, don't get me wrong, but he should not have been associated with DC Signature. The reason we got for that was they wanted to they wanted to have a connection between the Signature line and the retail line, I guess to get more subscribers for the Signature line and show these figures at retail. And that was a lie, because really they planned this 2 years in advance. They tell us they have a roadmap. It takes about 16 months or 14 months to plan this out. They said that had no spot for him in 2014 to put him in, and that's why he became the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for 2013. They knew that the retail line was going to be stopped and canceled, and that is why we got this figure. It wasn't because they connected to, they already had it in mind to cancel the line. That is why we never saw the rest of the figures, like Batman Beyond the Wings, Damian Wayne. We didn't see any of those that were supposed to come around the end of the line, nothing like that. So basically, this is why we got this guy here, and that created a little bit of a backlash, because it made a lot of fans, and me myself, thinking like, if they can sneak this 52 figure into and make it a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, what's to say they're not going to do that for our subscription when we get it? And that was a great opportunity for them to even do the containment suit Doomsday then, and then that way they could have promoted the Unleashed Doomsday for the subscription sign up, rather than having two barriers where you have to choose between, well, if you hit one barrier you get the containment one, hit the other one get the Unleashed one. But we got 52 Shazam, and that kind of set people off, but not as bad as this guy that was announced. This guy was announced at the end of the year, and that just kind of like canceled a lot of things. People were like upset. He wasn't on any list to begin with, and they don't know why he put it in. They say it was a Toontastic figure, or toy, like visual figure. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice figure, not something that should be in a line like this, especially when you say it's for the fans. And then on the other hand, you're saying we don't follow any lists. But if you go on certain online websites, you see there's a list throughout the last 4 or 5 years, and we pretty much got basically a lot of those figures. But once again, they're always complaining about the tooling. But yet you see Hasbro and NECA, they seem to have no problem bringing us figures for articulation, great sculpting, great tooling, accessories. You see the Gremlin Spider, the NECA Ed 209. Even Hasbro is making sure they continue their line of Marvel Legends and stuff in some shape or form, whether it's exclusive to Toys R Us or something. They keep trying to push it out there, whereas these guys want to call it quits. And the difference between those lines and this one is that they could have put other lines for children, like this Superman here for the Total Heroes, which I'll get to later on. But it could have had a line like this going along with the classics and along with the other kid lines and stuff if they wanted to. But I feel that the Green Lantern movie merchandise kind of killed a lot of stuff from the retail for that. So that was one of the things that really got people boiled. The other thing, number 2, giving us the right characters but in the wrong outfits. Ones we never asked for, as I mentioned, Bat-Zaro, and the sub should be, as for the fans, we asked for Red Hood. Everybody asked for Red Hood. This is the Red Hood they gave us. Everywhere online, this is the Red Hood everybody was asking for. So the reason we got that is, why we didn't get this Red Hood, is because they said it would have been too much tooling once again. So they gave us this. And that brought up a lot of questions as to, if you can't at least make us the figure that we want or we're requesting, don't do it. Just go to another figure or something. Like, he's a good figure, yes, but not the one everybody wants. Using like maybe 3 issues in the comic book. Not really a classics fan demand type character. it's this red hood that we were requesting, not this one. And once again, the line should have ended with somebody like Ice or Liberty Bell, or even since you started off with the Lantern Leaders, you should have ended off with Indigo in December of last year to close up that whole Lantern gap, because I guess everybody had Lantern fatigue from wave, I believe 17, where you had like the whole Lantern Brigade deputies, which should have really been a Walmart box set. If you don't get me wrong, the figures are nice, but the leader should have came first. That should have been a Walmart limited exclusive box set of the deputies, and the leader should have been put into the regular line. Having a wave just full of repaints, where you got Anti-Monitor, but not this, so the updated 52 Anti-Monitor, that kind of started the line into a downhill spiral, especially with all those figures hanging at retail, and some of them I'm pretty sure you could still find today. So that's my take on that. And the number one thing here that I think is the reason why the subscription didn't go through and should have was not only the confusion between the two Doomsdays. He says Doomsday we've been waiting for. Technically, this is the Doomsday everybody wants. We've been wanting an updated version of him into this size. I like the containment suit Doomsday, but if I had to choose between the two, it would have been this one. They say this would have cost too much tooling, but yet, if you look at the containment suit Doomsday, he looks like he has pretty much almost the same tooling, if not a little bit more. So hopefully, maybe they'll bring him out sometime down the line. Back to what I was saying now, sorry. Number one was a list of what we might get. We're not babies. Sometimes we have outrage, like when the Damian Wayne got canceled from retail. You use that as an example where you don't give a list. Not a very good example. In this day and age, when everything's going up, and you're telling us that prices are rising and cost is going up, it's kind of hard to convince us when we see other companies still managing and pushing to get the figures out there with great detail. Like I said, Marvel Legends, NECA, those guys. It's affecting everybody, but they're still managing to get the quality out there. Even DC Collectibles now are doing a terrific job over 15 years now, figures, and they're just making them. They make the figures and leave it to the fans to decide if they want to buy them and keep the line going, but they give you quality. There's had been some issues with the little thin plastic they use, but other than that, they're doing a bang up job now. Back to the list, as I said before, things are going up. Everything here within the toy business is going up, even in regular life. You want us to give you our money on just face value. It's not really going to happen. You got to give us something. You say it's a Kickstarter, but all these other Kickstarters show you their plans ahead of time, give you names. Even if you give us names, you say you plan this 2 years in advance, you should be able to give us names saying subject to change. You say that on your packaging at retail. You say that even on your websites. You say it's said everywhere on every kind of merchandise, subject to change. The color may be different. People would have been happy if we at least got a list and say, okay, this is probably what we'll be getting this year, and make us a conscious decision. Because when you give us the wrong red hood that we don't want, you throw in Bat Zaro that was never on anyone's demand list, and you say this is for the fans, it's kind of hard to believe. And then you give us a San Diego 52 Shazam, makes it even harder for me to take out my hard-earned money and sign up. I did sign up like I normally do for my 2 subscriptions. I am sad it didn't go through, but I can understand why a lot of other people didn't sign up, because really it seems that we've got the wool pull over our eyes, and that seems to be the case because now the Superpowers farewell, Mixoplick apparently was supposed to be in a package with the light blue Superman, so we would have gotten a repaint of Superman with Mixoplick in a subscription, and I for one don't want a repaint of Superman in a subscription if it can be avoided. And the Mixoplick should have been put with maybe like Bat Hound or Crypto the dog, not a repaint of Superman. So it kind of, in a way, it's like you saved a big backlash there because the sub didn't go through. But on the other hand, it's like, you know what? we were kind of right of what you were going to do down the line, down the road. But apparently there were some other figures that were been coming up. Rumor being Vixen and Commissioner Gordon and stuff would have been great, but you could have suggested that in a list saying, look, these are the figures that we want to get out this year for this subscription if it goes through. All the Kickstarters are telling you what they're doing step by step when they're going to come. We understand there's a big delay and sometimes things don't work out the way it's supposed to. We get that. It happens everywhere. Some things get canceled outright and we don't know anything about it. But the internet's out there now. Well, it's been out there for a long while, and information gets like that. We find out things right away. It's not like back 15, 20 years ago where you wouldn't know if something was canceled unless you read it in one of those toy magazines or something. Nowadays, it's the information is just so fast out there that we would know, and we would say, okay, it's been delayed, but it's still coming. It happens. But when you want us to give you our hard-earned money on just what we might get, it doesn't fly anymore, and that's why all these Kickstarters that tell you what they're getting are banging out. They're meeting their quotas and what they need in like 24 hours. Even the 4 horsemen that sculpt these lovely figures, they hit their quota in less than 24 hours, 48 hours, because they told people what their plan was down the line, what figures they were getting, so we can make a conscious decision. And that's the point I'm getting to. You didn't give us a chance to make a conscious decision whether we want to get the figures that you're going to offer us for 2014 or not. You pretty much showed us 3 figures and say, this is it. We gotta have other ones, and that's it. It's all or nothing. And then on some podcasts you say it's not for the fans, you don't follow any lists. It depends on whatever executive is in the office that day that wants a figure like that Zorro. You'll throw them in subscription line, and too bad, fans, you're locked in. So basically that's basically what I have to say about that. It's sad that the line's ending. It's a great line. It's too bad. It was really the flagship for action figures for Mattel, other than Masters of the Universe, which I do collect. Too bad they're not at retail too, but it's too bad that they couldn't find a way to keep this going. I feel they might try, because they say it's the end of the 4 Horsemen style action figure design and DC collectible line at retail. But to me, they say it's the end of the 4 Horsemen sculpting, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the DC Classics line, that they can not bring it back to retail in some shape or form. Or maybe exclusive wave of 6 figures with a Build-A-Figure to rejuvenate it like Marvel Legends did. Because I have a few of these Total Hero figures, and they're not the same quality. They're quite sturdy, but my problem is, after talking to Fangirl 2.0 at New York Comic Con, not too confident about if this line's gonna make it or not. When I asked her, why should I invest in this line, because every line other than Classics that's come after that has pretty much been cancelled. So we'll see if there's an announcement like that at San Diego, which now there seems to be a wager on that the line's not going to go through for 2015. It's been mentioned at Toy Fair this past February that they're waiting to see if the line continues. They have no plans for 2015. So basically, whatever figures are out there in retail, that might be it, and then there'll be no more DC at retail, which is sad, because like I said before, it's a great line. I love collecting it. I have all the figures. As you can see, I have some customs here, and I really would like this line to continue in some shape or form. Who knows? Maybe they can, like I said before, pull like a Marvel Legends type thing and bring it back maybe in another year or two. Maybe when Superman Batman comes out, they can rejuvenate it somehow, or maybe they're planning to do it now. Who knows? But there's still a lot of figures to be made, and this line should have still been at retail and still moving forward. That's another thing too. One last thing about the list there is that, unlike Masters of the Universe, we basically knew Masters had a beginning and end when it was at retail. We knew what figures all came out, and you add more to the universe by when you got the Filmations license and stuff like that. it's kind of hard to do that for DC because the characters are so vast, the universe is so vast. So you really can't just have. We need something to know that what we're getting down the road would help a lot, and to finish up teams and stuff like that, because it's not just from point A to point Z with DC. It's all over, and then there's costumes, like I said, Red Hoods. It should have been still out there. In other words. So that's it. That's all I have to say about this. We'll see what's said at San Diego Comic-Con. There's probably just going to be announcements about Total Heroes, if the retail team's there. And maybe there's a surprise in there somewhere along the way that we will be excited about again. Because I really want to get excited about DC again with Mattel. And just He-Man and everything all around. And who knows, maybe the Unleashed Doomsday is in the future still. Maybe it's a one last bang out, like, here you go, Christmas type present at the end of this year. Alright, so this is Scorpion72 signing off. Thanks for watching. Sorry for a little bit long, but I just thought it was time I had to say my piece. Say goodbye to this wonderful line. I'm still going to keep these figures. I'll still get customs, and yeah. Until next time, my TCLs. Take care. Ciao.